Well, well, good morning. Yeah, I've been known to, they used to say I used to run an office like a drill sergeant, hey, go to this and they go, right? I remember we had this bold training, and those of you who are ex-KW and maybe not, we had 135 agents in our office, and you had to have 100 agents attend bold in order to get bold in your area. Well, I was challenged to have bold in Daytona Beach with only 135 agents. And guys, we had 112 show up. And here's what happened. The production went up, I think we said 68% the next 3 months year over year. So as we compared our months year over year, because I follow numbers, I look at stats and I know stats, I can tell someone's production. I see them out and I'll say, man, congratulations on your close 6 million year to date. And they're like, how do you know? I know everything. I follow these numbers. So we know that training and group coaching and certain programs really work. And I don't like to just tell someone, just go do it, but that's just my behavior and it's just how I am. If I tell you, hey, just go do that, trust the process, sometimes you'll be surprised what you're going to get out of it. Sometimes I just don't have the right words to really handhold you through the process. I just don't. I'm working on some of that, but I just can't. So this morning, this is going to be fully collaborative, and we have, if you guys haven't noticed, Curtis and Debbie have been visiting us, participating in our calls for the last several weeks. And I just want to say, first of all, I want you guys to understand, if you hire a coach, it's going to cost you anywhere from $1,000 to $2,000 a month. Period. That's what it's going to cost you per half hour. 4 calls, half-hour calls. Okay. So if at minimum you're paying a coach $1,000 a month, Joe, you talked about this last week. You get more out of these calls than you did from your previous coach that you were paying $1,200 for, right?
That's
so
right.
That means, yeah. So that means they get paid about $250 for 30 minutes. So they're taking the time to be on this call, to be with you, to help you. So I just want to say thank you to them for that. So just so you know, it's an investment for them, and it's an investment for you guys that they're here. So I just want to open it up. I read a beautiful article this morning that was quite promising, because when there's opportunity in every market. And I keep hearing this word recession getting ready to hit. We may not feel it because people are still in bidding wars. We have short inventory. You can say whatever you want. The stock market's continuously going down. There's a lot of stuff going on in the world that you're not paying attention to, that it's our job to bring it to you. So I'm not saying the market's going to crash. I'm not saying it's going to correct. I'm not saying anything, but what if it does? Okay, so that's kind of where I wanted to dig in today with growth results, initiative, and tenacity. So I want to kind of turn it over to Curtis and Debbie, because they have a hard stop, and I don't want you guys to miss their opportunity to speak.
Sure.
Before you start, Curtis, so Curtis started in real estate in the down market, the last one that everybody calls the crash, and
perfect timing.
He came from mortgage, and when he got into real estate, it was the middle of the horrible, right? All the agents were henny pennying and saying, I'm never going to do a short sale because I never get paid, blah, 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 blah. But Curtis didn't hear that in the market because he was coming from mortgage. And he turned to a mentor and says, well, what do I do? And the mentor, and forgive me if I screw it up a little bit, but the mentor said, well, you just need to talk to 20 people a day and ask him about real estate. And he just did that. He just went, oh, he didn't say, oh, there's the market, and oh, sellers don't want to sell because they're upside down, and buyers don't want to buy because it's a short sale in a day. His mentor says, you just need to talk to 20 people a day. He's like, oh, I could do that. And he just went and did that and was really successful his first year in real estate. and it was the bottom of the market because he didn't allow whatever. If you take the action, and listen, Tom, thank you. The reason we're here is because we love this business. We love it. He and I talk about real estate and we don't really sell it. We talk about it all the time because it excites us. So the right action makes the market irrelevant. And that's our mission. The right action makes whatever. Now, do you have to change what you say? Do you have to change how to say it? Do you have to change how many people you might have to talk to get a yes? Yeah, but the right action makes the market irrelevant. So yes, is the market changing? Yes. How do we match our skills to what's happening in the market so that we keep getting results? How do we change our actions? So I just wanted to brag on Curtis, right? Because he took exactly what you said, Tom, and just went and took action and was really successful. His first year in real estate. First year.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So Curtis, let's talk about that, because as it directly impacts what we do today, and technology is in the way of, I feel technology is the biggest distraction we have from doing what we need to do, right? So when you came into the business, technology wasn't what it was today. You didn't have, people were on Facebook or Twitter and all those other things, right? So let's talk a little bit about, foundational success and how that helps.
So, and thank you, Debbie, and thank you, Tom, for allowing us always to be here, because again, we're passionate about this, and so we just enjoy giving back and having these conversations regularly, and getting the opportunity to get in Zooms and stuff. So thank you. It's as much our honor and pleasure as it is, you thanking us for being here. Look, I didn't know any better. The deal was, what I did know was that since I had come from the commission business, mortgage business being very close to what real estate is like, I knew it was a game of leads and talking to people, and we were at a time in the market, right, where it was just crazy and short sales and all the thing. And listen, here's somebody that was tremendously successful. In fact, they were a partner of mine when I was a mortgage person. And so I took their direction, and basically he just, look, here's how you fill out a listing agreement. Here's how you fill out a contract, go. The deal is talk to people and go figure out how you can help them. And that's it. And I didn't get bogged down in any of the things. You talked about technology. I mean, the technology existed and people were doing things. But that was just a sidebar. That was just some stuff you can get caught up with. That stuff wasn't going to get me in front of 20 people a day or give me the conversations that I need, right, to go help people. So I just set out on that path. And Debbie says I was successful. If anybody wants to know, I sold 35 houses. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing. All I knew was how to fill out a contract and how to fill out a listing agreement. I didn't put homes in the MLS. He had an assistant. That was it. So my job was to go just figure out who I could help. And again, I didn't get caught up in all the things. And that was it. And I filled my pipeline, and I had closings every other week, and you name it, that was it. And we get really caught up in that stuff. I'm still stuck on this. Most of you guys weren't on the phone call, but earlier today or this morning, about like a quarter till or 10 till, because we got on here, and it was myself, Debbie, and Tiffany. And I saw Tiffany's post yesterday, and probably many of you guys did, and it said, I was Tom Martin, or I Tom Martin today, or something like that. And without knowing, because I didn't know, I said, Tiff, I said, well, what exactly did that mean? And we got into a conversation about alter ego, because she shared what that meant. It was, the go get it, put this hat on, this Tom Martin hat on, and go do the thing that I've been holding back on and not doing. And so I was just, as we were having that conversation, and as we started getting into this phone call, I just started thinking about that. And Debbie and I talked about, we've read a book before, and many of you guys might have as well. It's called The Alter Ego Effect. And it talks about that very thing. who do you need to become in order to go do that thing? And in that book, just as an example, one of the people that they reference in that book is Beyonce. And many of you guys don't know this, but Beyonce is this timid, nice, kind person, whatever. And before she goes on stage, she channels this person that she created named Sasha Fierce. And so she becomes Sasha Fierce and then goes and gets on stage and delivers this incredible performance. And then once she's done, she goes back to the sweet, loving, kind woman that she happens to be. I don't know her personally, but I'm assuming that's what it looks like. And so, look, that's what I did, back in the day. It was, who do I need to become? What did I have to do in order to do the thing and become successful? So I got sideways with that. My apologies, but I was still caught up on Tiffany because I thought that was incredible. And Tom, I don't know what you do on a daily basis, but evidently you're like, let's go get it. Let's do the thing. Go ahead.
Well,
Ben.
what Tiffany said was go for no, right? When that person says no the first time, I actually asked a student one time who knows Tom Martin. A student that I was talking to said, well, everybody in my market lists at 5%. And I said, oh, that's really interesting. I said, does Tom Martin? And they went, well, no. Well, why is that? Why, So, right. So sometimes when we want to be somebody or embody somebody or pick up the phone one more time, I had the picture when I was running a Keller Williams office. I had the picture of a worthy colleague, another team leader that was on the back of my family photo that faced out. I put a picture of her there because she was beating me in numbers all the time. And she was a friend, but I put her there. And when I was thinking, I'm not going to make another call, I'd look at that picture and I said, is she making another call? I bet you she is. And it would inspire me to make one more call. So that's a little bit of the alter ego effect. What do you need to do to become that person that like Curtis did, just says, oh, I need to talk to 20 people. No belief system. No, I can't do that. What if they say no? I can't ask my friends for business. I don't know 20 people. Where am I going to find 20 people? Like all the things that we say. He took a mentor that said, this is what you did. So he just adopted his mentor's persona and said, I got to just go find 20 people to talk to without the judgment of, I can't do that. I don't know enough people. What am I going to say to them? He just took the mentor's persona, put it on and said, I got to find 20, period.
I diagnosed that 20 that you talked about, Curtis, and I was writing my notes down. So like I said, I like to dig into numbers, and I love where this whole conversation is going, is because it's truly about mindset. So do this and trust the process, right? I'm brand new. Do this and trust the process, right? So 20 conversations, go get 20 conversations. I did 35 sales. So you talked about 4,200 people your first year. If you did it consistently for 42 weeks, because we got to take time off for family, the holidays and everything else. So you were right at that 1% mark of conversion, right? So that is perfect. That's a perfect alignment if you think about it. Now, when his skill set grows, he would do a 3% or a 5% conversion, right? So the more you do it, the more your skill set goes. But naturally, talking to 20 people a day resulted in 35 sales. By the way, guys, 35 sales back then was an average sale was probably about 100,000. Guess what an average, how much?
150.
All right, I apologize. 150. So guess what that is today? It's over double that, which is about 12 million in volume, which is probably over 12 million in volume is close to $400,000 in income, because he was told talk to 20 people a day and don't worry about anything else. But see, we seem to get off track because we want to do it our way. Now, you want to do it your way, that's fine. You want to go pay for leads, that's fine too. You want to throw money into this. You want to sit at your computer and hope that something pops up on Facebook for you. Go out, and that's what grit's all about. It's growth creates results, you got to put in the initiative and the tenacity, and then it all just comes together. By the way, the book Grit with Angela Duckworth, it's just mind blowing. And that alter ego, it kind of goes together. And I'm going to shut up for a minute. Who do you have to become to achieve the goal that you would like to achieve? I was told by many past mentors, coaches, and leaders that exact thing. If you're the person that can bring 50 people to an organization and work with them, you're not the person that can bring 100 people and be that same. You have to change, and you have to become who's the person I need to become to do that. All right. So when you feel like you're stuck, think about who do you have to become, who's in your ear, you know, what would Curtis say? What would Debbie say? What would they say when you're having that moment? So I didn't mean to just.
I see
Okay,
Joey.
hey, Tom, you got a hand raised of Joey McGregor.
Joey.
Okay, maybe not.
Or
Maybe
he's frozen.
He might be
Yeah.
So I had a question for you.
ahead.
So, you know, put in the faith in the process, right? And can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
can. You kept going in and out. Go ahead, Joe. Oh, he's gone. He's completely off. He's got to log back in.
Yeah.
So faith in the process. So go ahead.
Yeah. So let me just ask a quick question, and I'm gonna ask if it's okay that we look at reality together, right? So we're gonna do a little reality check. We're halfway through the year. I want you to think about last year and what your last year results were. Maybe it was a great year for you. Maybe you were struggling last year and you're looking to get better. So I want you to think about what your results were last year and think about what your goal is this year. And now I want you to compare. I don't know if you're like me, but we can feel what's happening, right? We can feel what's happening with the market. We'll get you in a second, Joey. We can feel what the difference is. And let me ask you, are you feeling the effect of what the market is doing right now? I know most people are, right? Last year, the deals came fast and furious. This year, I'm working a little bit harder, or deals are falling out, or my listings aren't going under contract as quickly. So let me ask you, are you ahead or behind of where you were last year? If you're like most agents, you're either behind or you're feeling the struggle, right? I'm behind, or I'm feeling that last year I was sliding down here. This year I'm climbing uphill, right? It's different. So let me ask you, if you're behind where you were last year, what is your life going to look like if nothing changes towards the end of the year? Like, what's going to be different? If you're down 20% from last year, does anything change in your life? Do you not take trips? Do you not buy the new car? Do you not do the upgrade on your house? And I'm going to ask a question, because this is the question that we don't often think about. And I just read a book, or I just watched a video that talked about motivation. And what motivates most people, from a neuroscientist, is focusing on what we lose if we don't take action. I know we visualize and we see the house, but what really causes people to action is to focus on what we have to miss out on if we don't take action. So let me ask you, if we're going to be down this year, who else is going to be impacted by that? Loved ones, family members, what really is going to be that impact? Some agents on this call may not get through this business, and we're really passionate about not only keeping you in this amazing business that can give you a lifestyle that will change your world, but having you accelerate through these challenging times. Listen, these ups and downs have always been here, and the agents that develop grit are the ones that really succeed, right? They learn the skill that they need to do that. And that's what we're really passionate about. And that's what grit's going to be about. Grit is going to be about helping you take these actions that will cause you to either match your revenue or last year. Our goal is to have it help you exceed your revenue for last year. That's what we're passionate about. We do it for free all the time. We come on these calls because we're just so passionate about agent, because it is simple. It's not easy. We just get sidetracked with all the things we do, and we stop focusing on the actions that give us results. You know, we're going to talk about what happens if you struggle to get leads, or what happens if you struggle to fill your pipeline. What's working in this market? We're going to focus on that. We're going to talk about how to talk to your leads, right? This market, we have to now talk to our leads differently. And we don't want to feel salesy. We don't want to feel like a hammer. Well, Tom might want to feel like a hammer, but we don't want to feel like a hammer, right? We want to be conversational. We're going to talk about how to manage your day so that you can get everything done. And we're going to talk about why your marketing might not be working and how to improve it to get results. And that's what we're going to cover in our 30 days together with Grit. Anything you want to add, Curtis?
No, you did a good job. I'm like, long story.
Nothing. I know we want to sign up. I want to sign up for that class. Like, that sounds amazing.
So here's the thing, guys. As we're going through this, and Joe, I'll get to you 1 second. I see that hand up, and I love hearing what you always, the input you always have. Is we have to be in the environment of growth mindset to do the things that we need to do to get to where we want to go, and focusing on what we lose if we don't take action. So many people rather go through misery than the agony and pain of success. And to me, anything worthwhile is uphill, right? Isn't that what we always talk about? John Maxwell always talks about it, right? Anything worthwhile is uphill. If you want something, you have to work at it. If you want to get in the condition you want, you got to go to the gym. If you want to be healthy, you better eat healthy foods. If you want something, you have to work at it. Nothing will come through that door and be sat on your desk. I promise you. So focus on what you lose if you don't take action. You guys did do a great scenario in the classroom where, you know, you got 2 tall buildings in wherever city, right? And then there's this wooden platform going from building to building, and it's only like four inches wide, but it's super thick and it can hold your weight. And you got some pansy like me who can't even get on his tippy toes without getting nauseous, right? I can't stand heights. I will, all right? But here's the thing. There's a burning building on the other side of that plank, and your kids are there. My kids are there on that rooftop saying, Dad, please come and get me and help me. The building's burning. It's going to collapse, or they're going to burn to death. I have no fear at that moment, and nothing's questioning whether I'm going across that plank. I'm going across and I'm getting them. If I don't, the consequences are I lose my children. What are your consequences that you're not fighting for or willing to take, regardless of the fear that you have? You got to run forward. Joe, go ahead.
So I had a question for Curtis. So regarding the success that you had in your first year in the business, and, you know, I'm sure that there was a ramp up period. At what point did you start to notice, after doing these actionable things over and over, talking to 20 people a day, at what point did you start to notice pipeline maturity happen? Because there's going to be a gap there.
Yeah, just about 60 days. I mean, and I mean, because what happened, you know, you're going out, you're having a conversation, and oftentimes, you know, it's not the first conversation, it's the second one or the third one, right? And, you know, and I just started getting things under contract. Well, we all know in this business, right, things, you know, even if you put something under contract today, it's not closing for 45 days and all the things, right? Or if you get a buyer today, you got to go run them around for the next 2 weeks and all the stuff, right? So everything's on about a 60-day whatever. So I just got after it. And, you know, within a short period of time, I've got people that, you know, yes, let me list my home within a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And then I, you know, just built this pipeline. It took about 60 days, and I start getting paid about day 60. And it just kept going and going and going. And I knew about the importance of carrying a fat pipeline. I'm talking to a couple of large real estate teams right now, and I talk to some of the buyers agents one-on-one, and I'll ask them, I'll just simply this, listen, because they say, oh, I got all these buyers, blah, blah, blah. And I'll say, well, let me ask you a question. How many hot buyers do you have right this very second? Meaning, if you find them a home, they will write a contract. And you say, well, 3. Let me tell you something. In this market, 3 is not enough. 3 is not enough. Because you listen, you can go find them a house today, you write up an offer, you send it in on this particular home, there's 10 other offers competing with you. Yes, the market's shifting. Yeah, okay, so it's not 20, but it's still 10. So you got a 10-to-1 shot on that particular house. 3 people in a pipeline for a closing next month is not enough. You probably need
Curtis,
6,
when you
7,
ask them how
8.
many are in the pipeline that they're cultivating, what's the answer?
Usually,
1 monthers out,
yeah.
2 monthers out, 3 monthers out, 6 monthers out, 8 monthers out. How many do they have?
And they usually say 1, none, whatever.
0.
So, because we're not thinking that way. We're not building this long, listen, there's another book. I don't even want to get into it. The Infinite Game. Are we playing the short game? Are we playing the long game? Are we playing the infinite game? Or are we playing the game month to month to month? Well, you guys all got in the business. You said, I'm going to come build this big real estate business. Well, if that be true, then you need to start thinking differently and playing the long game. Right? And
especially in this market, right? And especially, you can't just have 3 buyers in your pipeline. You need to have 50 buyers in your pipeline that are going to be buying in month 1, month 2, month 3 down the road. And then you need to be really good at continuing to cultivate that relationship throughout, because if you have another 20 in that pipeline, half of them aren't going to buy this year or sell this year. They thought they were. So you need 20 or 30 or 50 potentials to close half of those over the next 12 months, right?
Yeah.
And
So
that's what we're going to focus on in Grit, and how to get that long game pipeline put together. You'll find today business, but not many people have a long game pipeline.
I want to talk about pipeline for a second. Joe, thanks for bringing that up, because that's a business mindset right there.
We got to go, guys. We love
right.
you. The link to get registered for Grit, Curtis put in the chat.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
All right, thank you, guys.
So I want to talk about pipeline for a second. Those of you who meet with me on a regular basis on a call, I provide you a pipeline. I give you a pipeline. Okay, it's an Excel spreadsheet. It says buyers, sellers, it nurtures all this. If you don't have everything in a pipeline or a system, my old system used to be sticky notes around my entire computer and on my wall and everything else. Now I have a better system. I have a pipeline, and it tells me what my potential income is month in and month out. So when every day that I used to come into the office, I'd open my pipeline and I could see what my potential income was for June, for July, for August. How many of you get up every day and go, if I don't get a property on the contract, I'm going to be going to find a job? This is real, guys. I know, because I've run brokerages with a lot of agents, and I've seen so many agents leave the business because they refuse to do the work it would take to earn the income that they desired, because they'd rather go get a salary or they'd rather get an hourly rate and be miserable. So with that being said, fill up your pipeline. If you don't have a pipeline, I'm not sure if it's, I'll upload one into the GPS icon series in the files. I believe there's one in there. It's a very simple thing. You talk to a buyer, put them in there, but also they should be in your KV Core on an 8x8, your sellers, KV Core 8x8, right? So KV Core has a system, but I always kept a separate spreadsheet, and it's a Google spreadsheet. I pull it up on my phone, my laptop. I know that my pipeline is going to give me income for the next 3 to 6 months. Okay. So that was a great thing that you brought up, Joe, and it gives you something to work towards. right? Hey, Joe, I noticed that you're looking to buy. We talked to each other 30 days ago. Has anything changed? Are you ready to buy now? Or are you still waiting till next year? Right?
The reason I brought it up, Tom, is because I know there are a lot of people out there struggling. I was for a long time until I finally just put my, just trying to talk to 20 people a day, because it takes a while for that to come to fruition. And you're calling people and you're getting hammered with rejection. And a lot of times people just quit before they end up striking gold. It's unfortunate.
100%. It's the hockey stick rule, right? They do all this work, and they get right here and they quit. And instead of going through that explosive growth. And then we get explosive growth and then we stop, and we got to become someone else to get through that. Or we got to hire people or get better systems, tools, technology. It's systems, tools, technology, and then people, right? That's how we grow. So so the link to grit is I see it here in Claire. I'll get you 1 second there. So the link to grit is in there. It's going to be how to build a $100,000 pipeline within 6 weeks for $199. Guys, I had them working on this for, I don't know, 6 months now, putting everything together, coming up with price, coming up with everything. I talked to George. This is not an infomercial. I promise you, this is an investment and an opportunity for you to grow your business. And the more people that get in it, the more the growth that you'll see within our group. Okay. So Tiffany is already enrolled into this. So she's probably #1 registry, hopefully. And again, today at 1 o'clock, I put in the link if you want to get on a discovery call for, if you have an agent that may want to know more about EXP, can get on that discovery call. If you're a guest here and you want to get on that, the link is in there. So Claire, go ahead, Claire.
So I want to bounce off of what Joey had talked about. And there was a pivot in my business when, instead of trying to get yeses or appointments, when my mindset was to get the no. I just wanted the no. And I would have a little canister and another little canister, which had 10 pencils in it. And my goal was to get 10 no's in a row. If it didn't get 10 no's in a row, I had to start over. So I got through my 20 calls every freaking time. And actually, I was making 26 calls because of how large the database was. So I just encourage us that when we are going through those moments of, oh my gosh, those objections or whatever, just say, yay, yippee skippy. That's when I get to move over. So, but it was the goal, and Liz can attest to this because she watched me do it consistently. If I didn't get 10 no's in a row, I'd be moving them back and starting over again. So be encouraged.
Yeah. And, one of the things that my coach taught me in 2000 or 1999 was, see, back then it was different. He told me to go to the store and buy the game Monopoly. Okay. And I said, well, why? He said, because all I want you to do is take the money, and then I want you to go buy a bank bag. Because back then, guys, when you went to a bank, you brought a bank bag and put your money in it. So I had my Monopoly money on my desk. And for every call I made where they didn't answer, I put maybe a $5 bill in there. For every call I made where they told me no, I put a $50 bill in there. For every call that set an appointment, I put a $100 bill in there. At the end of the day, I counted up my money. That's how much I earned that day. Even if I didn't have an appointment, I used a system that helped me stay accountable. As silly as it sounds, Monopoly money. I have tokens, like almost like Vegas tokens. And my coach sent me 40 of them, 40 tokens. I had to have 40 appointments per month to achieve my goal. 40 appointments a month, guys, 2 a day, 10 a week. And let me tell you, so for every token that was on the left side of my desk cost me at the end of the month $100 per token. So if I didn't get those 40 tokens, those 40 appointments, then I was owing a charity the difference on the left-hand side. It was an accountability thing. It was a mindset thing. That's all it was. It was a silly thing, right? Go ahead, Joe.
So two things, right? So one, it's funny that you say about the tokens of the appointments, because I actually printed out, I set a goal of 26 homes this year, and I printed out 26 envelopes that get sent to EXP. So that way I can have the escrow checks sent out. And then every time I send one out, the stack gets lower and lower and lower, right? So that's one thing. But I used to do direct sales, and I would go business to business. And we would have people that were independent contractors, and they'd follow me around. And I would do what's called the day of observation. I tell them we're going to talk to 300 people today. Probably 3/4 of those people are going to tell us to hit the road, Jack. And then I'm going to find, 15 to 20 people that are going to open up their wallet, hand me 20 or 50 bucks. And just like clockwork, we had the little card that I would send them around. They'd write it down. They'd circle and check off every single one through 100. And at the end of the day, I walk away with 250, 350 bucks cash every single day, like clockwork. And it's because I just knew if I talked to that many people, I was going to make my pay. And that was it.
Yeah. No matter what market we're in, no matter how crazy the market is, no matter how slow the market is, it's all about conversations and relationships with your database. That never changes. So I assure you that the more conversations you have, the more people you talk to, the more purposeful you are, the more business opportunities that come your way. And I'm so proud of Tiffany, because when I have my calls with her on Fridays, if she's not excited, I know she didn't do what she needed to do. And she takes ownership of that. And then there's Fridays where she's sending me messages, I can't wait to talk to you today. And then I know she's gone above and beyond and she's done everything right. So when I had that call with my coach, when I didn't do the activities I needed to do, I tried to look for every reason to avoid that call or miss it. And here I am paying $500 for a half an hour call, and I was trying to avoid it.
I did the same thing, Tom. I literally did the same thing. I knew that when I got on the phone with my coach, we did Zoom, that he was going to hammer me, and I got sick of it. So I just started making the calls.
Exactly. Yeah. So and guys, this does not have to be a cold call business. This can be a handshake business. This can be doing seminars, buyer seminars, seller seminars, investor seminars. This could be your open house opportunities. This could be, your teacher appreciation days, any events that you do for communities. All of this combined it's just not about a cold call. It's about getting conversations going, either database or creating. And by the way, you got to create new conversations too in order to grow the database. Because if you don't, you'll dry out your database. Every year, you'll consistently get a good amount of sales from your database, and it's not going to provide you what you're looking for in your business. So, all right, it's open. It's 9/11 and it's open to you guys. Leverage your community. There was a comment here. Leverage your community is a powerful tool. 100%. So if I walk out my door and I see Exit Realty on the lawn across the street from me, I can say it doesn't bother me, but my stomach's turning. It's turning. How dare them walk into my area, right? But then I have to go, wait a minute. I didn't actually reach out to Mr. and Mrs. Zimmerman, right? And, and for my wife or whatever. So your community is golden. There was a lady in Melbourne. Her husband was a contractor for NASA, and she got a real estate license. She was a former school teacher, but she was a stay-at-home mom at this point. So she got a real estate license for extra income. And here's what she did. She walked her community, and she had little sign panels on the stroller. And she would introduce herself to the community and knock on the doors with her kids. And it worked. Diana Kokoska, those who don't know her, she was one of the most amazing coaches you'd ever want to be in front of. She's in the, it's Sean Kokoska's mom. She used to talk about when her boys were little, she was a single mom with 3 boys. She put them in a little red wagon, and she would door knock for hours. And she would make tons and tons of sales. Do whatever it takes. Tom, can you please tell me a little more about grit? I'm interested. So I just want to kind of give you an outline. You'll get scripts, you'll get dialogues. It's Mastermind. It's going to be 2 hours twice a week. And I believe it's 5 or 6 weeks. So you'll have scripts, dialogue, and it's about building a real estate pipeline. The goal is to build a $100,000 real estate pipeline by the end of the course. Okay. So that's what it's all about in a nutshell style. If you wanted to send a message to Curtis or Debbie, any one of you on Facebook, or if you have their number, you can give them a call and they'll dig in with you as well. Okay. All right.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
You're welcome. All right.
Thank
It's
you,
open.
Tom.
Is that Tiffany?
That was me. Yes.
Oh.
Thank you, Tom. And I am excited for my call today. What? That means I did my stuff, guys. Did all the things.
That's a great feeling, isn't it? When you're succeeding at something.
Yeah.
You know, think of your children when if they play sports and they just had an amazing game, or they come home and they're so proud their report card is, you know, I was never proud to come home with my report card. I did everything I could do to hide it. But imagine they come home, they're super excited. They achieved something. They feel so proud and happy, right? So start doing that for yourself. The results will happen. It's painful to go through the process. It's painful to go through the process, but the results are awesome.
Agreed.
All right. We still have 58 people on the call. Anybody want to share a real estate success they had this month? Well, for the month of April with listings or buyers, because we'd love to hear, because that all helps us. So who got a listing or a buyer under contract that really kind of made an impact for you? There's a lot.
I have one, Tom.
Yes, Karen.
Hi. So one of our agents moved to Hawaii. I don't know if y'all ever got to meet Madonna, but she lost her husband suddenly, and that's where they met. So she wanted to move away. Well, she had a pipeline of potential of customers, and one of them was a listing. So she asked if I would handle it. Very challenging. He lives in West Palm Beach, elderly and not computer savvy at all. Tried for about a week to get the listing document signed and everything get going. And of course, this all happened the day before I left for my 2-week cruise. So what it boiled down to is that he never could sign the listing documents. So he got frustrated. I found a cash buyer while I was on the cruise. And so we got it under contract without having the listing, but he signed everything regarding the, what do you call it? The commission agreement.
Yeah, good.
All right, that fell out. So I got back from my cruise and he's like, if you can't get me these documents to sign, then I'll just find another agent who can. So I loved the sign. I think it was behind Curtis's picture, whatever it takes.
Yes.
I drove the listing documents to West Palm Beach from Orlando. Thought I would be there 30 minutes, come back. Ended up staying for 5 hours talking to this man who probably hadn't had a visitor in 10 years.
Yep.
So he was just, you know, not a very happy person, but he ended up being a very loyal person to me and saying some really nice things after we got all this done. And we now finally have a under contract again with a cash buyer. So he's very happy. And just to go back to Curtis's sign, whatever it takes, guys. I mean, I could have given up, thrown up my hands when he said, I'll find another agent. I would have said, fine. I could have said, fine.
Yeah.
But you do whatever it takes right now in this market to get listings. So
Whatever, you are 100%. Karen, nice job. Here's what I heard. You have an agent that you have a relationship with. She had an unfortunate situation with her husband, moved away. You were able to help a past client of hers or someone from her database. Guys, build relationships with realtors as well. You never know when they're going to get out of the business. You never know when they're going to go, hey, I'm slammed. Can you have these 3, 4, 5 referrals? Because I hear it all the time in the same market. Hey, I talked to an agent this morning. Hey, Tom, Nancy was busy, so she gave me a referral in the same market. So be a good agent and have great relationships with other agents. You're going to get more business from them. I know many people on this call right now. Lizette will give referrals out in her own community, and so with so many others because they're busy with the stuff that they got, right? So there's so many opportunities within our group, within the agent relationships we have, and everything else. So Military Spouse Appreciation Day. Go ahead.
Morning, Tom. I think it's very important that you touch on, it's Robert. I think it's
Oh my
important. that you-
gosh, I could not tell from that voice.
John.